There are moments in life when we all feel stuck, when the weight of laziness presses down like an invisible chain. You wake up each morning with good intentions, to change, to move, to improve, but somehow, the day slips away. If you've ever felt trapped in your own comfort zone, unable to find discipline, this story is for you. Tonight, on Wali Tales, we journey through the story of a man who fought the hardest battle of all, not against the world, but against himself. This is the story of Hassan, the boy who conquered laziness and discovered the power of self-discipline. Sunrise Part 1, The Cycle of Comfort. Hassan was an ordinary young man, 24 years old, full of dreams, yet paralyzed by one silent enemy, laziness. Every morning, his alarm rang at 6 a.m. And every morning, he hit snooze. 5 more minutes, he'd whisper. 5 minutes turned into 30. 30 into hours. And before he knew it, another day had vanished into regret. He dreamed of success, of building something meaningful. He'd watch videos of entrepreneurs, athletes, and scholars who seemed unstoppable. Yet, every time he tried to start, he'd tell himself, maybe tomorrow. His room was messy, his mind, cluttered. He wanted to exercise, but his body refused to move. He wanted to read, but his phone always found a way back into his hand. One night, as Hassan lay staring at the ceiling, he whispered to himself. Greater than, why can't I just be disciplined? Why can't I stop wasting my life? That question burned inside him, but he didn't yet know that it was the beginning of his transformation. Cloud with Rain Part 2, The Rock Bottom. Weeks passed. Hassan's laziness started affecting everything, his work, his relationships, his confidence. He missed deadlines, ignored calls, and began to feel worthless. He'd scroll social media for hours, watching others live their dreams, while he sank deeper into guilt. One evening, his father walked into his room. He looked at his son, lying in bed, unshaven, surrounded by empty snack wrappers and a half-dead laptop. Hassan, his father said softly, do you know what's worse than failing? Hassan didn't respond. It's doing nothing. Because doing nothing slowly kills who you could have been. Then his father quietly left the room. That night, Hassan couldn't sleep. His father's words echoed in his mind. He sat up, looked around, and finally faced the truth. He wasn't lazy because he didn't care. He was lazy because he was afraid. Afraid to start, afraid to fail, afraid to face discomforts. Fire Part 3, The Turning Point. The next morning, Hassan did something different. He didn't hit snooze. He got out of bed, not because he felt motivated, but because he was tired of being the same. He made his bed. He cleaned his room. He took a cold shower. They were small steps, but for him, they were a war against his old self. That day, he made a promise. Greater than, for 30 days, I will act disciplined, even if I don't feel like it. The first few days were painful. His body resisted. His mind screamed, just rest a little. But each time he ignored that voice, it grew weaker. He started waking up early, reading, writing, exercising, and slowly, something inside him changed. Discipline, he realized, wasn't about feeling ready, it was about showing up even when you didn't want to. Crescent Moon Part 4, The Discipline Mindset. As weeks turned into months, Hassan began to feel something he hadn't felt in years, control. He no longer waited for motivation. He built systems, a morning routine, a workout plan, and daily goals written on sticky notes across his wall. He tracked his progress. He forgave his mistakes. He kept moving forward. And every time he conquered a lazy thought, he smiled, because he knew he was becoming someone new. One day, a friend asked him, "Bro, how do you stay so disciplined now? You used to be the laziest guy the first knew." Hassan laughed and said, "Greater than, discipline isn't something I found. It's something I built, one small action at a time." Months later, Hassan looked back at who he once was, a boy trapped in his comfort zone, and he barely recognized himself. He realized that laziness is not a lack of ability, it's a lack of purpose. When you know why you're doing something, getting up becomes easier. He learned 3 powerful lessons. 1. Start small. Great change begins with one small action: making your bed, going for a walk, reading a single page. 2. Stay consistent. Discipline is built through repetition, not intensity. 3. Forgive yourself, but never quit. Some days, you'll fail. That's okay. But don't let one bad day become your excuse to stop. Narrator: soft, inspiring tone. If you're listening to this and struggling with laziness, remember, you are not weak. You are simply untrained. Discipline is a muscle, and every day you push yourself, it grows stronger. Start now. Don't wait for motivation. Act first, and motivation will follow. Because one day, like Hassan, you'll look back and realize you didn't just overcome laziness, you became unstoppable. Musical note: music fades out slowly, peaceful and victorious tone. Narrator: this was How to Overcome Laziness and Become Disciplined, a Wali tale to remind you that change begins with a single step. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe, like, and share it with someone who needs this message tonight.